Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
We're back, guys. UFC Fight Night Ebola versus Murphy from London, England. Early start time, guys. 1 p.m. Eastern. Keep that in mind. Yes, you guessed it. Heavy English card. A lot of English fighters, of course, being featured on this card. First time on Paramount, so they'll get some more exposure. Good main event, guys. Excited for the main event. Rest of the card, not really. A couple good fights, but the main event, very important fight. Stylistically, may not be the best fight. However, winner of this should get a title shot. So this fight should be very interesting. I've been watching a lot of March Madness today. Already saw the big upset. High Point beat Wisconsin. Watching a bunch of games. Duke almost lost. Siena was up by like 11. And then Duke obviously showed up in the second half, but did not look good. So I don't think Duke's going to go too far. Hopefully you didn't have them to go too deep in your bracket. 2-0 actually in the March Madness so far. If you guys have been listening to the podcast, you know I handicapped March Madness last year. Did fairly well, so we're doing it again this year. Started 2-0. We hit South Florida plus 5.5. That barely got there. They had to come back to get that. They were down like 23 at one point. And then we hit Miami, Ohio plus 7 yesterday. They won outright. So nice read there. Systemsportscapping.com or link.me/systemcapping for client opportunities. Currently handicapping the UFC, PGA, and March Madness. Best way to support the system while you profit as well. Right? You're going to be profiting long term most months. And you're going to watch sports while doing it. So head over to the website now if you want to support the system. Receive my personal plays via email, detail write-ups, detail units, what book, etc. PGA, we do a short PGA podcast on Apple and Spotify. Been killing the PGA market this year. Hopefully you have been listening to that. Back-to-back outrights in the outright market. Hit Cam Young last week at plus 3,500. Castillo the week before plus 2,200. We get a value outright if you're listening on a podcast and bet the value outrights plus 7,000 on Batia. So hopefully you have been tailing. Head over to the, if you're listening just on the Spotify and Apple, we do it over there just for audio listeners. Fight night recap, Emmett versus Vallejos. Big win for Vallejos. I was definitely on him. Did not have a client card actually for this week. But if you listen to the podcast, Vallejos by knockout was the way to look to avoid that big price. Found it a lot quicker than I expected. Right? Emmett has proven time and time again to be very durable, but he's getting older now. And when you fight a young, hungry lion like Vallejos, it's going to be tough to find a win. And it was proven there. Vallejos was able to win. Big favor, no big surprise there, of course. So he's proven, he has a number 10 by his name now. I expect him to fight, maybe like a John Silva, or he did call out for Yair Rodriguez. Sure, why not? Give it to him. I think Silva would be a fun fight. Yair Rodriguez, don't know what's really happening with him. I feel like he hasn't fought forever. So not too sure what's going on there. Robertson, big win in the co-main event for her. Canadian girl, best Canadian fighter right now for women. She's not far from a title shot, guys. It's crazy to say. One more win, I think she could get a title shot. That's how weak the divisions are these days. So, hats off for Robinson to getting it done. That was going to be her path, grappler way to victory. Only the second card in like over a year that I stayed away from. There's just a lot of big favorites, right? I wouldn't want to do 3-4 parlay, moneyline parlay to get like barely plus money, right? And outcomes were tough. I wasn't 100% sure on outcomes, so we stayed away last week. Big fight news, Chimaev versus Strickland. Love the fight. This is one of the fights I wanted to see in 2026, among a few others. Can't wait for this fight, guys. This is a big-time fight, bad blood between both. They used to train together. And it's going to be Strickland's takedown defense versus Chimaev. I think Chimaev wins the fight, if you ask me right now, without doing a ton of research, right? He should be able to get the fight down to the ground at some point, right? Should be able to find maybe even a submission. I've heard in camp that he submitted him before. You can't take Strickland down, even though his takedown defense is very good. Chimaev is just a different animal. So right now, yeah, Chimaev, I do believe, wins that fight. Let's get into this card, though, guys. Let's get into this card. And we got a fun main event here. Evil minus 250 versus Murphy plus 205. Right off the bat, value at plus 205 on Murphy. Do I think it's the best matchup for him stylistically? No. But he showed against Pico that he could pull off a win. He's fighting at home, 17-0 versus 19-0. A lot of guys have been trying to avoid Evilov, right? Just due to his fighting style. He just wants to chain wrestle you, make it boring, and hold you down. But you got to start fighting. You got to fight Evil because he's at the top of this division. So if you want a title shot, you got to fight Evil. Murphy's taking it on. I thought Murphy probably would get a title shot versus Volk last time. But if you really look at it, guys, yes, the Pico win was nice, but he did catch him with a Hail Mary shot. His resume isn't as good as Evil. It's not even that close, to be honest. Right? Let's look at Murphy's resume here. Let's look at his resume. So the Pico win, nice, right? But again, Pico coming into the UFC from Bellator. It hasn't worked out too good for most guys, except one guy, actually, Page, who's on this card. We'll talk about here shortly. He beat Emmett, who's old. He beat Dan Ige, Barbosa. So good wins, right? I'm not sitting here and saying, he didn't beat anybody, but he hasn't beat a top-flight guy yet. I'm not going to put Pico as a top-flight guy yet. Just because you haven't seen in the UFC. He's 0-1 in the UFC, right? Evil has. He has shown he could be top-level guys, right? Arnold Allen. Sterling. Lopez. Much better resume with much more impressive wins. Now, close fights in some of those, split decision type of fights or barely wins. One fight I thought he lost, right? So it hasn't been clean for him. And the reason is because the way he fights. It's chain wrestling. It's get you down to the ground. He doesn't do much when he gets you down to the ground. He's not great at keeping you there. Very good takedowns, though. Excellent takedown artist. And Murphy's 51% takedown defense is going to be it's big trouble. It's big trouble. He's going to get Murphy down unless he somehow catches him with a crazy knee or flying something to hurt Evil, right? So we know Evil is going to take him down. Where Murphy, I think, succeeds in this fight, again, if he catches him with something, but if it gets late into the fight, 3, 4, 5, right? Because we've seen Evil multiple times struggle in the third round against other guys. He does slow down. It's because of his fighting style. I don't think he has the best cardio, but when you're chain wrestling and trying to hold down guys, you're killing yourself doing so. So if this gets into 4 or 5, Murphy has shown to be very durable, of course. Advantage Murphy. So, I think great live betting spot. Plus 205, there is value there if you want to take a shot there. But we could easily just see Evil having a ton of success, taking down Murphy, and just winning the fight that way. Right? That's what is expected, to be honest, in this fight. It's just very difficult to me to bet Evil at this price. Not a threat to finish the fight. So if you want to improve the price and you like Evil, you take him by decision. Very low odds he finishes his fight. He doesn't have a submission game. He doesn't have a ground and pound game. And he doesn't have a striking game on the feet. He's just a pure wrestler. Very good takedowns. Very, very good. And you'll just span them throughout the fight. Similar to like a Marab. Very similar style fighters. Right? Striking is fine. Not great. Not even good. And he'll just chain wrestle your ass off. Very similar. Now, Evil hasn't fought for a while, guys. That is a little concerning for me. Year and almost a half now. And never fought a 5-round fight. So that's what has me a little concerned and why I say there's value here on Murphy. Doesn't mean I'm betting Murphy. Just think there's slight value there. I had Murphy more plus 150, plus 170. And due to the style, it's not the best style for him. Now, Pico wasn't the best style for him, but he won the fight. Pico's as good, maybe straight up wrestler as Evil. So keep that in mind. But he had to pull off a crazy Hail Mary shot to connect, right? It was, I'm pretty sure it was a spinning back fist, if I recall. So it's low odds he's going to hit that again. And Evil knows this, right? So there are some concerns with Evil. That's why I don't agree with this price. I do believe he should win the fight due to the style and the takedowns. So Evil will be the lean in the play. Hate the price. Murphy's fighting at home. He could land again. Remember, guys, Murphy never lost. Evil has never lost. So it's not a straight up, I'm not straight up confident on Evil. That's why it's more of a lean here. I'm leaving the open door for Murphy to win this fight. But I'm just excited to watch it to see how it goes. And to see who's getting the next title shot. That's what I'm more excited about here, guys. I probably won't have a client play. Probably my favorite's the over and rounds in this fight. I have a hard time seeing a finish here. The finish, I believe, would come from the Murphy side deeper into the fight. 4th, 5th round, and Murphy finishes the fight. I never see, it's rare you see an Evil finish. There's actually a fun stat here. Let me find it. Give me a second. On Evil. I believe he's been 9 decision wins in the UFC, guys. 9 decision wins in the UFC. Right? So why is he going to find a finish now? So if you like Evil, improve that price. Take the decision. The over and rounds I like as well. That's the only way I can look here. Fun fight, though. Co-main. Luke Riley minus 260 versus Aswell plus 210. They're really trying to promote Riley. They're giving him a winnable matchup here. I was on actually a Riley in his first event. I usually stay away from debut fighters unless it's a great matchup. It was. And he got the knockout. Now, the way to beat Riley is to wrestle. Try to take him down. His opponent in his first fight, Grod, was able to do that. He actually won round 1, Grod. Problem here, though, Aswell doesn't wrestle. So it's a good matchup. Aswell's shown durability. He's never been finished. And Riley likes to win fights by finish. So that could be interesting. Right? I expect Riley to land the bigger shots in this fight. Aswell has shown good volume in his fights. Just under 10 significant strikes. Limited fights, of course. But I think it's a good matchup for Riley. I think they're trying to obviously promote him, fighting in the UK here, trying to get another Paddy Pimblett style fighter, right? Riley trains with Pimblett. So I do expect Riley to win this fight. Minus 260. Again, not excited about the price. But not enough, to even think about Aswell here. I think Riley wins this fight 9 times out of 10. So it's enough for me to bet. Could be a 2-fight parlay piece. I just don't see Aswell winning this fight. Again, he's not going to try to wrestle and take down Riley. I think if he tries to, I don't think he'll be able to be successful. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen Aswell wrestle and be capable of doing so. So Riley has to be the play here. And it is tough to find, I would, of course, lean a knockout. But Aswell's been very durable, guys. Very durable. Never been finished, like I mentioned. So that's one thing worth mentioning. If I had to play an outcome, it would be a finish, but I can see Riley winning by decision as well. So, he may, if I do bet him this weekend, he's going to have to be a 2-fight parlay piece. Michael Venom Page is back. Minus 190 versus Patterson plus 160. I think a reasonable price here on Page. Nice to see Page back in there. Very tricky. Probably one of the more tricky guys to fight. Even more tricky than Thompson. I think he even bounces around more than Thompson. Big win over Jared Cannonier last time out, guys. Patterson put together 4 straight wins, and that's why he's getting this fight. But this is a downgrade for Page compared to the guys he was fighting, right? – Ian Gary only lost in the UFC. Obviously, the win over Jared Cannonier, there's a big step down in resume. So big resume advantage for Page. And how is Patterson really going to handle the Page movement, right? Patterson's going to want to get this fight down to the ground. There's no secret about it. He actually has a very good submission game. So he's going to have a big advantage in the grappling and wrestling department. Is he going to be able to catch Page to get him down? I'm not sitting here and saying Patterson's some takedown artist, because he's not. But if he gets the fight down to the ground, I think he has a big advantage in the grappling department. So we're going to see what happens there. But I think Page is going to be able to avoid the takedowns. Patterson is going to try to strike. We have seen Patterson durability concerns before. So I think Page could even hurt him on the feet. But Patterson just hasn't beaten anybody. Listen to his 4-fight win streak, guys. Linnaeus, Crosby. Yes, not Max Crosby, Crosby. Barlow and Waters. Most of you guys probably wouldn't even know who any of those 4 guys are. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I would have to go back and watch tape on these guys to remember who they are. Just very low-level wins, guys. So keep that in mind. Not enough value to even think about Patterson here. Could he get the takedown, find a submission, out grapple him? Yeah, he could, but he's going to really have to commit to that, really commit to chasing Page around, and Page will be able to probably land something big if Patterson's just trying to spam takedown. So keep that in mind here. I'm not writing off Patterson completely, but the path is limited. Takedown Page, find a submission. Lower odds. I have Page winning this fight 7 out of 10 times, most likely 8 out of 10 times. So enough for Page to be back this week. Polish fighter is back. Always the tough names with these Polish fighters, right? Baranowski is the best you're going to get out of me, guys. Minus 550 versus Lane, plus 400. Lane is still in the UFC. I thought he was cut, to be honest, guys. 3 out of 4 fights have been losses. Polish fighter 7-0. So yeah, still raw on the Polish fighter, but I believe he knocks out Lane here. I don't see how Lane wins this fight. He's moving down to 205 from heavyweight. Keep in mind, watch the weigh-ins on this one. I don't know if Lane's even going to make weight. I don't know, guys. So watch the weigh-ins. This one might be called off. But if he does, and this gets out of the first round, gas tank's going to be depleted for sure. So Polish fighter's the only way you can look. Take the finish if you want to improve the price. You're going to have to pay up for it, though. And for a 7-0 fighter, I don't think it's really worth it. But if you're paying like minus 200 for a finish from a 7-0 fighter, is it really worth it? Right? Is it? I like what I saw. If you saw the first fight, he knocked out his opponent. It was a great fight while it lasted. So, yeah, he's the play for podcast purposes. Am I running to the window to bet him with these big inflated prices? No. No, he's not. So, by finish is the only way. If this guy went 3 rounds, I'd be shocked. I'd be very shocked. Polish fighter should get his hand raised. But, just keep in mind pricing. Only 7-0. Just Lane coming down to 205. I don't know how that's going to work out, to be honest, guys. Last one we'll talk about here, and it's an interesting one, actually. Leroy Duncan, minus 500 versus Delice, plus 350. Right off the bat, a ton of value on Delice. Maybe the most on the card at plus 350. Big step up here for Duncan. Right? And that's why I don't agree with the price. Minus 500, and this is who you beat. Tulio, nice win. That's his best win. Best performance. Anders. Poliev. Just, very lower level. Maybe, it's hard to even say mid-tier. Sure, a couple guys. Tulio maybe mid-tier guy. But, if you compare the resumes, Dolic has fought everybody. And he has some nice wins. Vettori, Kevin Holland, Anthony Smith. He's coming off the loss, though, to Hernandez by submission. Now, if I had to bet this fight, yes, I would take Duncan, but the pricing is just awful. How do you bet Leroy Duncan at minus 500 versus a tough, durable guy in Dolic who's been there, done that? Where do you bet and it's very difficult to find an outcome here. I would lean the decision. Dolitz has been very durable. Duncan's not going to get a submission win. And I have a hard time seeing Duncan knock out Dolitz. So yeah, Duncan's the play. The price is terrible here. Dolitz has never been knocked out in his career. Only submitted. Dolitz now, he's 37. End of his career, in my opinion. Duncan 30 in his prime. So those are the reasons why I like Duncan here. I just can't get to this price. Due to his opponents that he's fought. The toughness of Dolitz, well-rounded game. Can't get the Duncan at this price, guys, but for podcast purposes, he will be the play. And the lean on the outcome would be decision. Just because I haven't seen Dolitz get knocked out and Duncan's not getting a submission. Fun fight, though. Interesting to see how this one goes. What does Dolitz have left? Coming off a loss to tough Georgian son of a bitch, right? Not a guy I love to bet against. I think I did take Hernandez in that fight. But prior, I haven't been betting against Dolitz. Gun to my head here, I would take Duncan, though. That will do it, guys. That will do it. Got to get back to watching the March Madness games. Great time of the year, right? You got UFC. You got PGA. You got the March Madness to watch. And an NBA, NHL, you watch that as well. Great time to be a sports fan. I'll keep you guys updated with my March Madness. Check my X account. I update there. A good start to there. A good start to the year in all sports, like most years. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Enjoy this card.